The architect just got blueprints for his own destruction. When the greatest advocate in sports entertainment history teams up with a second-generation wrecking ball to brutalize one of WWE's top champions, you know the landscape just shifted in ways that will have repercussions for months. Seth Rollins, the visionary, the revolutionary, the man who has survived wars with everyone from Brock Lesnar to Roman Reigns, just found himself on the wrong end of an ambush that nobody saw coming. Welcome to WWE Extreme, where we are dissecting how Paul Heyman orchestrated a beatdown that proves the special counsel is still the most dangerous mind in professional wrestling. If you love watching master manipulators play four-dimensional chess while everyone else is playing checkers, hit that subscribe button faster than Bron Breakker delivers a spear and slam that notification bell, because we are delivering content more explosive than Seth Rollins' entrance on this channel every single day. Let us set the stage here, because context is everything in professional wrestling. Seth Rollins has been carrying the World Heavyweight Championship with pride, defending it against all comers and establishing himself as the fighting champion who never backs down from challenge. The architect has been through absolute hell throughout his career, rebuilding himself multiple times, reinventing his character more often than some people change their socks, and always emerging as a top-tier performer. Rollins is not just talented, he is resilient, the kind of competitor who has seen every dirty trick in the book and invented a few new chapters himself. But here's where things get absolutely fascinating. Paul Heyman, the special counsel, the wise man, the advocate who has guided champions to glory for decades, has been somewhat adrift since the bloodline implosion. Heyman's relationship with Roman Reigns has been complicated, to say the least, and while the details shift faster than a cruiserweight doing a Hurricane Rana, one thing remains constant. Paul Heyman is always playing the long game. This man does not make moves without 3 backup plans and an exit strategy that accounts for variables that have not even happened yet. Enter Bron Breakker, the human embodiment of barely controlled chaos wrapped in 300 pounds of next-generation muscle. This kid, I use that term loosely because Bron is fully grown and terrifying, comes from wrestling royalty as the son of Rick Steiner, nephew of Scott Steiner. But Bron is not riding on family legacy. He is creating his own path of destruction through sheer dominance and athletic prowess that seems genetically engineered for professional wrestling success. Breakker moves like someone half his size, hits like someone twice his weight, and possesses an intensity that makes pit bulls seem cuddly by comparison. The fact that Paul Heyman has aligned himself with Bron Breakker is not just interesting, it is downright terrifying for everyone else on the roster. Heyman brings the psychological warfare, the strategic planning, and the microphone skills that can manipulate entire audiences. Breakker brings the physical domination, the raw power, and the mean streak that makes opponents question their career choices. Together, they form a combination more dangerous than pineapple on pizza is controversial. So when Seth Rollins found himself alone, vulnerable, and directly in the crosshairs of this newly formed alliance, disaster was not just possible, it was inevitable. The attack itself was brutal, calculated, and executed with the kind of precision that only comes from careful planning. This was not a random act of violence or a spur-of-the-moment decision. Paul Heyman orchestrated this ambush the way a conductor leads an orchestra, timing every element perfectly for maximum impact and devastation. Bron Breakker unleashed absolute hell on Seth Rollins, hitting him with offense that looked less like wrestling moves and more like attempted vehicular manslaughter performed without the vehicle. Every spear Breakker delivered sounded like a car crash. Every power move looked like it shortened Rollins' career by 6 months, and the relentless aggression left no doubt that this was a statement being made in the language of violence. Breakker was not just attacking Rollins, he was sending a message to the entire locker room. There's a new apex predator in WWE, and he is hungry for championship gold. But let us talk about Paul Heyman's role in this assault, because the special counsel was not just standing on the sidelines looking pretty. Heyman was orchestrating, directing traffic, and making sure that Bron Breakker's attack had maximum psychological impact. When Heyman talks, people listen, Not because they want to, but because ignoring him is like ignoring a fire alarm in a burning building. His presence elevated this attack from a simple beatdown to a coronation, a declaration that Bron Breakker is the future, and that future is arriving ahead of schedule. The visual of Seth Rollins laid out, hurt, and unable to defend himself while Heyman stood over him delivering what was undoubtedly a scathing verbal assault, is the kind of image that defines eras. This was not just about physical domination. It was about psychological warfare, about planting seeds of doubt in Rollins' mind and making everyone watching understand that the power structure in WWE just experienced a seismic shift. Now, the question everyone is asking is why? Why did Paul Heyman choose Bron Breakker? Why target Seth Rollins specifically? The answers are layered and delicious. Heyman sees in Breakker what he has seen in other clients before: unlimited potential, raw talent that needs guidance, and someone hungry enough to do whatever it takes to reach the top. Breakker represents the future, and Heyman has always been smart enough to position himself on the winning side of history. As for targeting Rollins, that makes perfect strategic sense. Seth holds the World Heavyweight Championship, which makes him the gatekeeper to main event status. Taking out Rollins sends shockwaves through WWE, establishes Breakker as an immediate threat, and positions this new alliance as the dominant force that everyone else needs to worry about. Plus, there's probably some personal history or perceived slight that Heyman is addressing because the wise man never forgets a grudge and always collects his debts with interest. The fallout from this attack is going to be nuclear. Seth Rollins is not the type to take this lying down, even if that is literally how Heyman and Breakker left him. The architect will be planning his revenge, calculating exactly how to dismantle this alliance and reclaim his status. But recovering from an attack this vicious takes time, and time is something that Heyman and Breakker are not going to give him. They will press the advantage, continue the assault through promos, and potentially more physical attacks, keeping Rollins on the defensive and off balance. The WWE Universe is now watching a potential changing of the guard in real time. Bron Breakker, with Paul Heyman's guidance, could very well become the next dominant force in professional wrestling. He has the look, the talent, the pedigree, and now the advocacy of the greatest manager in the business. That combination has produced legends before, from Brock Lesnar to CM Punk to Roman Reigns, and there is no reason to believe it cannot work again with someone as naturally gifted as Breakker. But Seth Rollins has made a career out of defying expectations and overcoming impossible odds. The man has beaten the Shield, conquered the Authority, survived betrayals and injuries, and always come back stronger. This attack, as devastating as it was, might just be the motivation Rollins needs to elevate his game to another level. When backed into a corner, Seth Rollins becomes even more dangerous, more creative, and more willing to cross lines he normally would not. The matches that will come from this rivalry are going to be absolutely spectacular. Bron Breakker's explosive power game against Seth Rollins' technical wizardry and high-flying innovation creates the kind of style clash that produces instant classics. Add Paul Heyman's mind games into the mix, and you have a feud that can main event pay-per-views and dominate television for months. What makes this situation even more compelling is the unpredictability factor.